Well, hello Starcraft fans and hello Starcraft community members. If you're watching this video, you're essentially a community member since you're out there loving Starcraft in some form or another. I'm Sidewinder here for Community Starcraft 2. I'm bringing you another game. This is going to be a community replay that I just randomly downloaded once again, that I do with most of my replays since apparently I'm not cool enough to start getting regular submissions from a lot of users out there. Nevertheless, this is going to be a Protoss versus Terran. Their red Protoss player's name is pandaBee. He's spawning up here on the top right hand side of Shakuras Plateau. He's going to be fighting MangoNinja, who is our blue Terran. He's spawning up here on the top left of Shakuras Plateau on close by air positions. So we're going to see what kind of thing unfolds from here. I hope this is a great game because we've seen some amazing games tonight that if you have not watched, go ahead and watch them. I've been on really a streak of some great games, just really nothing but quality stuff so far. And my last few community replays I'm particularly proud of because they've been awesome games. And I hope you guys that are the viewers can churn out stuff like I've been seeing recently. So if you have your own replays, I'll go ahead and just say this while this game is building up. If you have your own replays, send them to communitysc2@live.com. Anyway, we'll go ahead and jump into this game. This is Protoss versus Terran. As many of you may know, this is not already, but this is my favorite matchup, considering there's so many strategies that can work, considering you never know what your opponent is going to be doing in this matchup on either side. So it creates a really cool environment to play in, also creates a really cool environment to watch. Some of the best games I've ever seen have been Protoss versus Terran games. More specifically, off the top of my head, I'd call out Thorzane versus MC in Game 4 of their series in the TSL 3. Squirtle versus I Am MVP was one of the better Terran versus Protoss games, one of the better games overall. Squirtle in particular is one of my most favorite Protoss players. I love watching him play, especially against Terran. His work with Sentries and his work with Templar is amazing. But nonetheless, let's jump into the game. Enough goofing around. Here's the bunker dropping at the front door for MangoNinja. This almost always signals either a fast expansion or tech. Considering this probe did not see any gas, he's going to guess fast expansion. So your best response to this as Protoss, if that's indeed what's going to be happening, is dropping a Nexus of your own. And you can see him banking quite a bit of minerals, as this Nexus is going to go ahead and start right there. And he is actually doing a very fast 1-gate expand. Typically, if you were just to run this build either blindly or without this kind of advanced scouting information that he got, you would actually put out a Stalker or two before you dropped your Nexus, that is, not your Gateway. But nevertheless, this is the correct decision since this Terran player is going for an expansion of his own. As you can see, the expansion building itself, and who knows what the SCV is doing there. It kind of looks like the building is doing all the work. But anyway, normal stuff coming down here, and this is exactly the follow-up you want from a 1-gate fast expand. Is 2 more gateways right after that, so you can produce off of them right away and help your army out in case some sort of counter pressure comes, like 2 or 3 barracks pressure. But again, there's only going to be 1 barracks out, and he's actually loading up into a bunker. So even if the Protoss player poked up here with one of his units, you would see there's just a bunker there, and there's really nothing to be worrying about anytime soon. Unless the Terran player is really playing mind games with him. It's usually not stuff you see on the ladder very often. Quite frankly, it's not really anywhere that you see it very often. Maybe just stuff that runs through my own head because I like to trick people and I like to play goofy styles of games. But nevertheless, here comes the Nexus is up, only transferring 3 workers. Just kind of strange. Usually I like to transfer about 10 or 12, depending on the timing of the expansion, just so I don't mind my main too hard. And ultimately, it is the better decision if you don't mind your main too hard, so you can keep longevity on these minerals for as long as you can. The Terran player is actually going into a factory right after this quick expansion, which again, I mean, Terran tech paths are always wide open, and as a Protoss player, it's kind of your responsibility to get in there and scout and see what he's doing, so you know what you need to be prepared for. But nevertheless, these 2 Stalkers do poke up here and take a little bit of damage and see exactly what's going on. They're going to see nothing but Marines in a bunker. Hey guys, I'm sorry, there's a little bit of a glitch here in this video, but I did actually max out my hard drive on space, but we're going to go ahead and jump right back into this game. Just want to explain that really weird interruption. What I was saying is that when he poked up the ramp there and saw just nothing but Marines in a bunker, that's going to indicate really fast tech from the Terran. at least on your scouting reads. It's usually what you'd have to assume, since you're not going to see everything that's going on there until you get an observer in there. And now the robotics facility is finished. You can get an observer, and some people like to chrono boost it, some people don't. I'm kind of one of the people that does like to chrono boost it, but then again, he's running really low on chrono boost, so he's probably has better uses for it other than that. He's going to be go ahead and putting up a forge here. Sorry, a little bit of a computer hiccup there. Putting out a forge, possibly to start getting his upgrades spinning, but I'm not really sure where he's going to be going with this. And whoa! There are 3 starports coming out from this Terran player. So this is, again, strange. I feel like I say this in every one of my games, but this is really unusual stuff. Typically in Protoss versus Terran, you would actually see something more like Bioforce with medevac support versus any number of different Protoss unit compositions, but it's usually Colossus and Gateway Army mixture. But there's 3 tech labs going down on these starports. So this is looking a lot like a very heavy Banshee Raven play, but we'll see exactly what goes on here. I swear, I don't just download replays that look weird. I download replays that are from, you know, good level players that are receiving, you know, pretty good reviews, and then I go with it, but it just happens to be that most of these replays are pretty unusual. So I hope you guys like this kind of stuff, because I like it. I like seeing different stuff come down. If I want to see normal stuff in a ladder game, I can go play one whenever I want and play as standard as possible, even though everyone knows, especially me, that that is not very much fun to do a lot of the time. There is cloaking coming out on these Banshees, so he's going to be a cloaked Banshee attack. Fortunately for the Protoss player, he does have observation ready. He is putting out a lot of auxiliary observers, and I really like this. I really like this. It's something that a lot of people don't think about, and that is rallying your observer to your Stalker pack that's going to be taking care of any sort of Terran tech. Now again, he did scout the Nothing But Marines into this double bunker Marine, you know, hiding at the front door, basically saying that I'm teching so hard behind this that if you try to push up here with a decent force, I'm going to lose if I don't have these bunkers down. So the Protoss player is playing exactly through his scouting reads, exactly as he's supposed to, and he does have his Stalker split up into smaller teams to take out any sort of Banshees that might be coming. You can even see on his hotkeys, he does have different groups of Stalkers hotkeyed to different hotkeys. So this is such good play here from this Protoss player to respond to this. But there's going to be a ton of Banshees on the field. This is the 6th Banshee hitting the field. 3 more on the way. I don't know when he's ready to push, but it looks like this 6 is going to be that cue to go ahead and punch this Protoss player in the nose and really catch him off guard. I don't know what kind of scouting information this Protoss player has. Excuse me, that's the wrong team. He does see the 3 Stargates, or 3 starports anyway, up, and he is rallying his Banshees to the back. There's Templar tech coming down as soon as possible, but here come the Banshees. They're going to really go to work on these probes. He does focus on the cannon, but these Banshees are going to kill probes so fast. Look how fast these probes are dropping. These Banshees are really racking into kills, and actually Banshee versus Stalker is not a bad matchup if you're Terran. So he does cloak. There is an observer following these guys around, so very good observer work. It can be really annoying as Protoss to have to follow around cloaked Banshees with your observers. This Terran player should be comfortable, you know, kiting these Stalkers just a little bit, if you can call it that. I'm not sure about the speeds on both of them in relation to one another. Movement speed of 295 on the Stalkers, movement speed of 275 on the Banshees, so the Stalkers are actually a little faster. But here come the Banshees, focusing on a lot more probes. Storm is being chronoed out as fast as it can, and Blink is also on the way in order to deal with these cloaked Banshees. He does have these Banshees pinned, so this Terran player did get himself in a little bit of a bad situation where these Stalkers can range over to where these Banshees can sit. Almost! So close. But as soon as Blink is done, here we go. The Stalkers can continue to whittle down these Banshee numbers, which is perfect. There are a bunch of Banshees sitting back in the Terran main, so he's just trying as hard as he can to get some damage done on these Banshees, or damage done with these Banshees. He's already done significant probe damage. So we can see the workers killed now shows 12 workers killed for the Protoss player, but the Protoss player is actually expanding really aggressively behind this, and I really like that. The Protoss player's economy is still staying even with the Terran player, even though the Terran player is showing as he's ahead, and even though the Terran player does have mules on his side. He's trying to focus down at this pylon in order to stop this upgrade from spinning. And if he can get this upgrade down, That will be very good, but the Stalkers are going to go ahead and push these Banshees out of here once and for all. He doesn't power a lot of the gateways, so if he had another force ready to roll, which he actually has a very respectable force on the field right now, if he had them ready to go, this would be very hard to hold off as Protoss. But then again, he does have Templars out with Storm. It's just that he does not have the energy for Storms on these Templar yet. He does have it on a couple, but not on the one we had selected. So he has 4 Storms ready to go, in addition to whatever Storms he might rack up in the meantime before this engagement actually happens, which inevitably it will. Protoss player is throwing down pylons at every expansion that Terran might try to take in order to slow him down however he can. There are going to be a squad of Marauders bumbling their way across the field in order to take out this pylon so that the Terran player can go ahead and expand there. You can see a command center ghosting. Personally, I would like to see this command center go up a little bit earlier, possibly when that 6 Banshee force was moving out. But never mind, actually, I look like an idiot because there is an expansion landing right here already, so the Terran player will be on 3 bases as soon as he gets a good worker transfer, which we can see them all conga lining out of the Terran main over to that 3rd. The Terran force is very, very scary right now. This is going to take a lot of really good work, and holy cow, a Thor is on the way for this Terran player. So this is a really cool unit composition coming down. It's going to be Marines, Marauders, Thor, or maybe 2, and a ton of Banshees. I have no idea how you would try and handle this as Protoss. High Templar are a really good response since you can storm or feed back these Banshees, and you can feed back the Thors. Here come the Templars. They're now in range to land feedbacks or storms or whatever, but I believe that the cloaking is still on here. And if he picks off these Templar, that's going to be disastrous for this Protoss player. Look how far ahead this Terran player is in supply right now. Huge storms go down on top of these Banshees. These Stalkers should have a pretty easy time getting down a bunch of these Banshees. But wow, I did not notice this huge supply discrepancy between these two. This Protoss player has been teching hard, but jeez, at 200 this fast, with also taking some losses on his Banshees, with this kind of tech behind it, that is very impressive macro out of this Terran player. Especially, I'm really interested to see how this unit composition fares against what the Protoss is fielding. You'd like to see him pull off a squad of SCVs to repair, and that's exactly what he does. It looks like they're just poking the air, but in reality they are repairing these Banshees. You can see some of them, their health going up, like right here. This health is slightly rising. Protoss player is now taking his 5th expansion. So the Protoss player is no slouch in macro whatsoever. But in terms of supply, he's so far behind. I'm so worried for this Protoss player, but holy cow! There are so many Templar on the field right now. This is crazy. This is a huge number of Templar. He's now morphing in 3 Archons. Here comes the ground force for the Protoss, or rather for the Terran player, going to be trying to deny this expansion in all likelihood.